So,
Okay,
hello.
thank
Sorry for this little confusion because there was a problem with my presentation. First of all, it's very nice to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to the organization. I prepared the presentation around this challenge that Christophe just told. So, what are the main strategies, technologies and business models for integration of large-scale renewable energies in my case in Portugal. So I represent EDP Distribuição, which is the Portuguese DSO. We are part of a larger group, an international group, EDP, which is present in 14 countries and which has most of its revenues, most of its EBITDA coming from outside of our country. So in the 90s, we made a internationalization effort, and nowadays, most of our business is outside Portugal and even outside of Europe, mostly in US and Brazil. So we have all of the main business on the traditional value chain of the electricity sector. So we have generation, distribution and retail in Portugal, but also in other geographies like in Spain and in Brazil. And then we have one unit of the group, which is EDP Renewables, which is one of the main players in renewables in the world, which has operations spread through many countries. So, as I said, I represent EDP Distribuição, which is the DSO responsible for only the grids in Portugal. So we have all of the traditional business. We have generation. We don't have transports. This is a different company. Due to unbundling rules in European Union, we had to sell this part of our operation. But then we have distribution and retail. In the distribution system is composed by one high and medium voltage concession and several low voltage concessions. So what I decided to bring here is one page from our roadmap from 2019 to 2025. So, answering to our traditional challenges, quality of service, operational efficiency, control risk, etc. We added some new challenges, mainly related with market facilitation, so interaction with market players that are appearing right now, already exist, are appearing or will appear, we believe will appear in the future. And on the other hand, of course, renewable integration. So this is not new for us. We've been integrating large-scale renewable facilities in Portugal and also elsewhere in our business. But what we realize now is that the challenges are changing. So most of the new challenges are, for instance, in Portugal, coming from the low voltage. There are many people installing low voltage systems in their homes, and even low voltage systems in small or medium companies. So this is our challenges divided in 5 main domains. So in the bottom we have these are the 5 domains for technological evolution for distributed resources integration. So we start in the bottom. We believe that we have to invest in new grid technologies with more monitorization and more sensorization for us to be able to control, to have visibility and controllability, especially on the low voltage, which is like a not so intelligent grid so far. We just have smart metering. We have a very small degree of controllability on the low voltage. Then we have to invest in new and more efficient telecommunications and systems, and more reliable as we connect to more and more devices spread through the grid. And as we depend less and less from the human operators, we have to invest in telecommunications and cybersecurity to make these connections safe. On the other hand, in the grid management side, it's other domain that we've presented here, we believe that we cannot rely anymore solely on the human operator for operating the grid. As more and more devices are connected, it is impossible to rely solely on the human operators on the dispatch centers. So we are now doing projects related with artificial intelligence, as one of the last speakers told you, to manage, for now, just small spots of the grid, to be able to give set points for storage systems or to curtail small PV systems in specific grid locations related with constraints that we've detected on those spots. So the big issue here is also grid planning and asset management. So we don't face only the challenge of aging infrastructure, but also we have to plan the grid of the future, not only considering our own assets, but the possibility to interact with assets that are connected to the grid but are not ours. So we are working with regulation also to address this issue, so to be able to provide requests or use flexibility of assets that are not on our specific list of assets or asset base. So, for instance, to be able to give some set points to a storage system which is connected to the grid on a contractual agreement, of course, to a third party. Finally, we are also betting a lot on the provision of services, mainly information to market operators. So we believe that in the future, more and more players will enter the sector, and we will have a mission mostly regarding information management. So information is the new oil of the future. We have most of the information on the sector. So we have key information like metering data from the customers. We are going to be able to, and it's going to be required of us to be able to do more and more forecasts, to be able to forecast loads, to forecast generation in specific sites, in specific spots of the grids, and to forecast also, and we are already doing some projects on this subject, to forecast grid constraints, either voltage violations or technical violation of other technical limitations of the grid, for instance, maximum currents or whatever. So we will have to have the capacity of not only on real time detecting these constraints, as we do already on medium voltage and low voltage and high voltage, also on the low voltage, in which we expect most of the problems will arise, especially related, of course, with electric mobility and PV generation. So this is our main area. So we are really interested in pursuing partnerships for new European or international cooperation projects in these areas. And so feel free to approach me after this presentation or to ask me the questions that you want to be to have esclared. Okay? So that's it. Thank you.